Hello and welcome to the first show of the second season of Illegal Knowledge. If you remember from about 4 years ago, 2002, 2003, if anyone out there is remembering watching this show, it was on then. We were talking about what the illegal knowledge being what the government and other entities, Illuminati and Masonic people want you not to know, not to be able to understand, to maintain their control over the entire planet. It's everything that you should know and everything that people don't want you to know, which is what illegal knowledge is all about. On this show tonight, I'd like to first direct you to the legalknowledge.com right here. That's all one website, no spaces in there. Legalknowledge.com is the online component of the TV show, and you can go on there and talk about everything, sign up, and there's forums and various postings and events and all sorts of fun stuff. And if you're watching the show live, then I'd like to ask you to call in, and if we get the numbers down there, once they show up. Yeah, there we go. And if you could call in, that'd be great. The topic for tonight's show is going to be the situation in the Mideast, how it started, how it got that way, what we can do about it, and why no one is doing anything about it. Yes? Yeah, yeah. Thanks. So anyway, if you're here, let's see. You do have a caller. Basically, the website down here, though, is going to be, if you're watching this live, it's going to be, the website will be available coming up next week. It's not currently live because of random issues with scheduling with the phone company. So unfortunately, that's not available for the live portion of this show. However, it will be available on all the other shows. One thing that I'd like to, before we go into calls, one thing I'd like to just talk about in terms of the Mideast piece, and I want to just talk a little bit about history, and what happened pretty much since the end of the Ottoman Empire. As you may or may not know, and I don't have a map right here to show you, but throughout Turkey and through Persia, Iran, Iraq, what is now Syria, Iran, Iraq, there is a thing called the Ottoman Empire, which was formed out of the remnants of the Eastern Roman Empire, and that fell in 1910 or thereabouts. And as a result, various interests, the French, the English, and then obviously regional powers, Iran, Persia, went in and diced it all up into something that sort of looks like what we're seeing today. But the reason why everything was all cut up was to break up the entire monolithic system of the Ottoman Empire into little chunks, which then any imperial power could come in and get its hands on. And at that point in time, they had found oil in Saudi Arabia, and it was, of course, about maintaining a monopolistic foothold throughout the Middle East. That was the start of the business interests, pardon me, in that region. And what has happened is that because of of Hitler, and it was an interesting point that was brought up to me the other day, that Hitler was the person behind the planning of Israel, of putting all of the Jews into Israel, and that it was only that Britain, seeing that it was already happening, said, yeah, okay, let's make a state for making Israel out of Palestine, and then created that issue. Now we're talking about the entire place where the Ottoman Empire was. This will include obviously any Palestinian issues, and would also include obviously Iraq and Iran and oil and trying to extract corporate extraction of profits from poorer areas. So that's pretty much, knowing that basis really helps you in terms of seeing how to view the the issues now. And knowing that sort of thing is you know, it's half a battle, as they say. Okay, well, we got 3 callers, so maybe I'll go to the phones and see what people are talking about. Let's see, just let me see. Is that working? Do we have to do something over here? Hello? Is there a caller? Okay. Hello? Is there a caller?
Daddy, can I have some sausage? Daddy, can I have some?
That's pretty cool. Hello? Is there a caller?
Yeah, dude, are you on meth?
What?
I said, are you on meth or some other kind of drug? Because you look pretty fucked up, man.
Really?
Yeah, and illegalknowledge.com. You sound like you're just on drugs.
No, no.
Well, if you're not, you know what I'm saying, prove me wrong.
Okay.
Tell me what's up. Tell me why you're like, I'm this and I'm that. You know, what's up, dude?
What's up? Well,
yeah,
okay.
no.
I take it you were listening to the what I just said about history and stuff like that. It's the topic for this week, and it was about Mideast and how it got that way, and what to do about it.
And what to do about it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I see illegalknowledge.com. Like, are you like some like conspirators or some shit? Even conspiracy theories and.
Well, it's
I mean,
only not. I'm not into conspiracy theories.
That, but I mean, other than that, you're like, I don't know, man.
I'm not into conspiracy theories per se. I'm more into conspiracy facts, because theories are only as good as, you know, whatever. In terms of what's going on with the global corporations taking over in let's say in the Mideast, because that's the topic for this week. The concept is that it's not a. I mean, it's certainly a conspiracy, and it's certainly not a theory. I mean, you can see it in practice.
You know, I think you're kind of right. You know, I've seen actually, you know, countries like the worst countries in the world, like, you know, Somalia and like Darfur, placed on the blacklist for United Nations for, you know, American people not to travel to.
Okay.
You know, I've seen Coca-Cola in the background, bottling plant, and the Coca-Cola stands.
Yeah, all right.
I see what you're saying about, you know, corporations. You know,
well,
I used to work at McDonald's. I remember we had a crew magazine.
All right.
And they showed all these countries all over the world. Dude, just McDonald's just kind of spreads, you know. Places like that. I've seen, you know, documentaries about Walmart, you know, and all the evil in that corporation.
Yeah.
So I mean, I kind of understand what you're saying, but.
All right.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
All right. Well, thanks for the call.
Me wrong.
Right on.
All right, man. You have a good night.
All right. You too. Let's take another call. Hello. You're on Illegal Knowledge.
Hello?
Yes, hello.
Would you let Dolly Parton take a dump on your chest for $1 million?
I probably would, but unfortunately that's not on topic tonight. Hello, you're on Illegal Knowledge.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could comment on the legal status or the concept on what the illegal aliens coming across the border is right now, you know, on basically your opinion on what you think about the fence and or the wall going up and stuff like that.
Okay, well, yeah, that's the wall is probably not a good idea. Walls never work. The topic, actually, we should probably do a full show about this, maybe in about a month or so, because I wouldn't support a wall. You know, there's a difference between creating a security system so that your country doesn't get invaded by terrorists or something like that. And I mean, obviously we need cooperation between this country and Mexico to make the need to come here less important for the people in Mexico. Like Mexico should be able to handle itself and to you know, be able to have its citizens well enough paid. I mean, that they shouldn't need to try to leave the country in order to make ends meet. I mean, that's just absolutely ridiculous for that even to exist. And we need to focus on helping Mexico change that situation. We don't need a wall.
Right.
I mean, that's just, I mean...
Well, basically, you know, I know that my forefathers, I think, probably came from Mexico. I'm not sure.
All right.
I know there were some Spaniard and some German. Anyway, but...
Well, what do you think about the situation in the Mideast? You know, they're building a wall over there, too, in between Palestine and Israel.
That's another thing. You know, you got Berlin, you know, 15 years ago.
Sure.
You teared down the wall.
That didn't work, yeah.
Now, you know, you're building another one somewhere else. So that, you know, the wall thing in general has got to go.
Yeah, it's exactly.
So,
yes.
But like you were saying, you know, the Mexican government should, you know, be able to support their people in ways like, for example, like Canada. We don't have that problem with them.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and plus they have full health care.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You wonder why, huh?
Yeah. You know,
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, maybe I was thinking maybe, you know, if you could like maybe do a show on that or something.
Yeah, you know what?
Great.
Let me. I can give the rough schedule of what's going on right now. The show happens every 2 weeks, so this is the first episode. The next episode will be 2 weeks on Saturday, the live version. This, I guess, airs a couple times during the week as well, and I'm not even sure when that happens. The show 2 weeks from now will be on impeachment, the case for impeachment, and then I'll tell you what. Let's do. Because I only did 1 week in advance so far, so let's just go ahead and make, well, what do you want the topic to be? Let's make 2 episodes from now, so episode 3 would...
I think a good topic would probably be, I don't know, the wall.
Yeah, walls in general, or immigration in general, or which...
Pretty much, yeah, immigration in general.
I think it's interesting because I think doing, like, just the walls in general would be, I mean, of course it's about immigration, of course it's about, you know, but the whole concept of walls, you know, and what, you know, and throughout history and stuff like that, that's, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was good talking to you, man.
Yeah, well, good talking to you. Thanks for calling in.
Thank
All right, let's take another call. Welcome, you're on Illegal Knowledge. Or are you on Illegal Knowledge? Hello? Yeah. Oh, no, you're not. Try it again. Welcome, you're on Illegal Knowledge. Hello? All right, try another one. Hello, you're on Illegal Knowledge.
Yeah, hello, guy. How you doing?
Yes, hello.
Hey, well, first of all, I got to say I love what you picked for the title of your program.
Oh, thank you.
I think a lot of people don't understand that, and I want to introduce myself.
All right.
This is Mr. Bill.
Okay, Mr. Bill, welcome.
I have my own program down there called Fiction Asia Disclosure.
Okay.
And welcome to your first program.
It's actually my second season. My first was back in 2002.
Oh, okay. Well, you went away for 5 years.
Oh, yes.
And don't worry about those phones. They'll work out. And you're talking about basically the same things that I'm talking about. Every time I talk to people about ancient history and what's going on with the wars, they say, well, isn't that illegal knowledge? You're not supposed to know that.
That's great. That's
and
great.
also, I want to give you my home phone number over the air because I already do it on my show.
Okay, all right.
First I got to ask, what is your name, guy?
My name is Michael.
Michael, okay.
Yes.
This is Mr. Bill. And my home phone number is 745-0125.
All right.
And I have been waiting for another like mine where we could share the same tidbits. I know what you're doing. I can.
Well, why don't you give a shameless plug for your show? When are you on?
No, well, my first show doesn't air until next Thursday night
Okay.
at 9 p.m., but I'm not plugging my show.
Okay.
I'm just cordially introducing you because when these other people call, they don't leave their names. I'm not afraid to leave my name or my home phone number.
All right.
But I appreciate what you're doing, and as far as the Middle East,
Yeah.
it's all getting ready to change.
What do you think?
Well, the power structure is getting ready to change. Jordan is going to be a big factor in what's happening there. They're going to keep building the walls.
Yeah.
Palestinians and the Israelis are going to become best buddies, and out of Jordan is going to become an incredible leader. He's already called a Hashemite. He has ancient roots to Iraq. And he's of the bloodline of the ancient Hashemites of Iraq, and he's just waiting to step in line. America's over there. They think they're doing a war. It's not a war, folks. It's setting it up for what the Masons and the Illuminati
Thank you.
are getting ready to plan.
Yes.
And it's going to affect America, Russia, China, and Europe, period. So, anyhow, Michael, this is Mr. Bill. Hey, welcome to the new season. I'm glad there's another show.
Thank you.
Illegal Knowledge. I love the title. You got my home phone number?
Yes, I have it.
Okay. Adios.
All right. Thank you for your call. Well, that was cool. Yeah, I would strongly suggest to people to, that sounds like a very good show. I will be watching myself. I might even, I'll call him. Anyway, let's go back to the phones. Welcome. You're on Illegal Knowledge.
Hey, how you doing tonight?
Hey, pretty good.
Good. Hey, just keeping on the topic of the Middle East, you're definitely right on about the Ottoman Empire and how basically the way that the West thinks about countries and natural boundaries really doesn't exist in the Middle East. It's really more of a loosely, like you said, a loosely drawn set of borders that was done mainly by the British and the French after World War I, after the fall of the Ottoman Empire. But really, in modern terms, I think I think the key point that needs to be made about the Middle East is that the biggest conflict in the Middle East, at least the biggest conflict over the last half century, is obviously the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And I think people don't realize that the other countries involved, like Saudi Arabia and Syria, all the Arab states basically, but particularly Saudi Arabia, really benefits from keeping this struggle between the Palestinians and the Israelis going, because so much of the anger of the Saudi Arabian people is misdirected towards Israel because they're constantly focused on the Palestinian conflict, and it sort of keeps the Saudi Arabian people from facing the fact that they live under a dictatorship that's propped up by the West, by the United States, and that the entire country is basically controlled by. You're talking about one of the richest countries in the world that basically the entire wealth is controlled by a handful of people. So, and that same situation exists in Egypt, where we have basically a propped-up government, where there's really no free elections, there's no free media, but even though the U.S. will tout them as a great ally and that blah 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 blah, there is no free countries in the Middle East, including Israel. Israel is an extremely segregated society. They have many levels of racism, and I'm not sure what the term is, but it's not a unified front in Israel where everyone in Israel is unified against the Palestinians. And
well, it's certainly not. There's the orthodoxy plus then you have the more or less secularists.
Right.
Yeah.
One thing
that
I
are
will
not
argue with
that
you on,
into trying to.
on is the fact that walls don't do any good. I think that 5,000 to 6,000 years of human civilization, I think we've utilized walls quite a bit for protection, for keeping enemies out, and I understand the issue with Mexico and the issue with the Mexican government. The bottom line is that the Mexican government is a narco state run by drug dealers who basically have used the United States to foster off any kind of revolution happening in Mexico, because they've taken the poorest people in Mexico, the people who really would be involved in a revolution, and they've basically done everything they can to get them into this country, and that's sort of what keeps the power structure alive in Mexico.
Well, have you heard about what's happening in Osaka?
I'm sorry?
Have you heard about what's happening in Osaka for the last year?
Down in Mexico?
Yeah.
with
They
all
mean a free
the
states and
revolution are you talking about in Oaxaca?
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to pronounce
Yeah,
it.
I know it's hard to pronounce, but it's
I know.
Oaxaca.
Yes, thank you.
And, yeah, no problem. Yeah, absolutely. You know, that pretty much is kept a secret in the American media.
Yes, very much so.
You know, people don't realize that there is a huge revolution trying to go on in Mexico. But the more they can get rid of their poor indigenous population and ship them up here to the United States, you know, and it's mutually beneficial to the leaders of the United States.
Well, of course, yeah,
because
you get cheap labor.
Basically, using the Mexican immigrants to destroy.
Who doesn't want cheap labor? Yeah, exactly.
And you know, so you know. Anyway, I'll let someone else talk. My wife's telling me to get off the phone. You have a good night.
All right. Well, thank you. All right. We'll go again to the phones. Welcome. You're on Illegal Knowledge.
Ah, you want a piece of pie?
All right. Oh, wait a minute. One more. Welcome. You're on Illegal Knowledge.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Right.
You're a little quiet, but I think I can make it out.
Okay. Well, I'm usually not that quiet. Usually, if I have something to say, you're going to hear me.
Okay,
But
great.
I've been watching Access for about 5 years, and I'm a frequent caller on a lot of the fun shows and a lot of the serious shows. You know?
Okay.
I'm happy to see a show like this. I'm a friend of Bill's who called you a little while ago,
All right.
and you know, more shows should actually be about topics like this, because I think, like, I don't know like what you know, and Mr. Bill, I don't know what he knows, but that's why I watch these shows, because I learn things.
And it should be about sharing, yes.
And when he calls his show Fiction Asia Disclosure, just the word alone, when you're living in Fiction Asia, you know, because everything you've been told, you know, he's telling you again the way it should be, because we've been lied to for so many years. And I don't really, I do keep track on current, you know, like especially what's going on down in Mexico. I don't think the wall would help, just for something really simple, because they just go over it or under it. It's not going to be a deterrent.
Yeah.
It wouldn't help at all. And I think, you know, there's two different kind of people that could come there. You know, the ones that are actually coming here to try and get out of that god-awful place, and, you know, to seek work, and, you know, they would want to become a citizen. You know, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you got the other side of it, where
Well,
they're
one
coming here to sell their drugs. They're coming here to get prostitution going. You know, no, we don't need that.
Trafficking in drugs or humans, yeah.
No, because we got enough of that going on here with the people of the United States. You know, there's crime here just as there is down there. But we don't need any extra. But I agree, the wall wouldn't really help anything.
All right. Well, thanks for your comments. What do you think about the Mideast situation? Because that's the actual topic for tonight.
Yeah, I noticed that at the beginning. You were talking about the topic.
Yeah, everyone started talking about the wall, because we were talking about walls because of the wall that they also did in between Palestine and Israel.
Well, you know what? You might want to rethink that, because on a lot of shows like this, you're going to get people who want to talk about other things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're trying to keep a topic. It's loose, you know.
It don't work.
Yeah.
And trust me, I watched a lot of shows, but I don't really have much to comment on that. I need to do more research on that, but it's terrible. It's terrible what's going on there, and the loss of lives, not just our lives, but their lives.
Yeah. I mean, there's estimates that suggest that maybe over 600,000 people, Iraqis, have died as a result of the occupation and the insurgents.
I like to keep it simple. I would say it just needs to stop. But unfortunately, people don't think simple, you know. They're going to complicate it up with this and that, and next thing you know, we're going to be over there for another 10 years.
Yeah.
And more people.
I'm pretty sure if we just got out, the insurgency would pretty much sort itself out and it would stop.
Yeah,
because they're against us being there. We're the occupier.
Okay, now say it goes against what we wanted, or goes against what certain other factions wanted. Well, you know what?
Well, like if they don't want to privatize the oil, you mean? Like if they...
Yeah,
well, let it. I mean, obviously that's why we went in there.
Well, I know, but it's their problem. Well, of course, it's about oil.
Yeah.
But,
well, it's about privatization of markets. But yeah, it's about oil.
But let the people work it out between themselves, because it's not our, you know, that sounds cruel, but no, it's not our problem. It's their problem. You know, they have the ways to work things out, whether it goes against what we think or not. We're not supposed to be sticking our nose in there. It's up to them. That's what I mean. to work things out the way it's going to go with this faction rules in the end or that one. It's not up to us. That's the way I look at it.
What do you think about the thing that made the news the other day about Bush giving $20 billion or something to any state in the region that'll help or something like that?
Yeah, it gives me a headache.
Yeah, really.
I don't even want to think about that.
I know. Like, what?
You know, because I'm not one of them intellectuals. You know, I can't really come up with solutions. I try to keep it simple, and I try to learn what I can. And I'm glad your show's on, and I hope it works out.
All right.
Well,
thanks for the call.
Season 2. All right.
All right.
Talk to you next time.
All right. All right. We got more callers, so let's keep the phones coming, keep the phone calls coming. Thank you for your calls, and let's go back to the phones. Welcome, you're on Illegal Knowledge.
Yes, my name is Dita, and I was wondering, do you want to touch my monkey?
Probably not, and welcome to Illegal Knowledge.
Oh, what's up, man?
Hey, hello.
Hey, I just wanted to call you to let you know that you're a fucking faggot.
Okay, then. You know, if anyone has a comment about the Middle East, please call in. Welcome, you're on Illegal Knowledge.
Yeah, I have a comment about the Middle East.
Yeah, thank you.
The problem is the Muslims and the Jews have been fighting each other since the time of Abraham.
Okay.
It's in the Bible.
Yes.
And it's going to go on until the end of time. And the problem here is that we don't understand the Middle East mind. As Americans, we try to make everybody democratic, and you cannot do that.
Okay.
And the Middle East, their mind is not that way. The only democratic Muslim country so far is Turkey.
Yeah. And they're
Muslim.
They're barely democratic.
They're more tolerant
yeah.
to the West than they are than anybody else. But the Muslim world believes that their Messiah is going to come back. Not the Jews. The Muslims have a Messiah.
Yes.
And he belongs to the Hashemite kingdom. Did you know that?
Yes, I was. Mr. Bill, I think, was talking. I think maybe alluding to some of that.
Well,
I wasn't sure if he had a particular person in mind or if he was relating to prophecy.
No, he's related to the prophet.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured he was talking about.
And he's from Jeddah.
Yeah.
That's where Muhammad was born at. And this person is alive today.
Okay, that's what they say.
Yeah, he runs the whole Middle East.
Do we know a name?
He's a Hashemite prince. I can't pronounce his name.
Okay.
But his brother is in charge of. He's the King Jordan of Jordan. That's his brother.
Oh.
Prince of Jordan.
All right. Okay.
But it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah, more than likely.
No,
especially if there's more involvement between other countries. And you know what? Well, I'll ask you the same question. What did you think of the plan that was announced to give money to the neighboring countries in exchange for help?
They don't need more money. They got enough money. You know, this is ridiculous. But the problem is us, you know, America believes by giving people money, we can keep them quiet. And it doesn't work that way. We did the same thing to Mexico.
Yeah.
We try to buy off Mexico. It doesn't work. You know,
Yeah, I think it's a very valid comparison.
it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And as long as this country is the way it is, and these Democrats, Republicans are playing the mind games, and we sit back and let them do it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you don't vote no more in this country.
Well,
everything's already
we
fixed.
think we do, but we use the electronic voting machines, and those aren't voting.
No, that's not that. I mean, no matter who you vote for, he's not going to do what you want.
With very, very few exceptions, in any mainstream candidate type thing, the question is how do you get the candidates that will do something to be mainstream?
And they don't last long.
Yeah, exactly, because they don't have the corporate backing, because they aren't going to support corporations, and instead they're going to support people.
Or if they don't belong to the Masonic order.
And that, too. I mean, you don't have to be a Mason to get into any elected office, but it certainly seems that you do to get to be elected president.
Well, let's look at it.
I don't think, can anyone name a president who is not a Mason?
Yes.
Or a Bilderberger, or
Yes.
a Skull and Bones, or
I
a,
can name two presidents.
you know, trilateralist?
Who are the two presidents that were assassinated?
Well, I believe they were all Masons, actually.
No, Lincoln was never a Mason.
Which ones?
Lincoln.
Lincoln? No, Lincoln was.
Mason. And Kennedy was not a Mason.
Kennedy was.
No, he quit.
Well,
Assassinated.
okay.
And why did Joseph Smith, who started the Mormon Church, was assassinated? Because he was a Mason.
Yeah. Anybody? Yeah. Well.
And here's your Supreme Court justice a Mason.
More than likely, yes.
Yeah.
It's interesting to note. And when people say, you know, conspiracy theories are like what, you know, that there is no such thing, or there shouldn't be investigated, or, you know, it's not a theory. You know, it's simply that all of these people, all the people that happen to be running the country, are part of the same groups. Well, how about the Bohemian Society?
Not only that.
In the Bohemian Grove and the Redwoods?
Right.
Yeah.
How about Oswald didn't kill Kennedy?
Well, yeah, actually, I was just on a road trip. My brother got married last October, so I drove back through Dealey Plaza and stopped there and looked at all the angles and whatnot. And yeah, it's pretty much, it's obvious that it couldn't have happened.
Yeah, I mean, why? How come the vice president go with them on that trip?
Yeah.
You know, because he wanted to become president. That's why.
Yeah.
I'll let you go because there'll be other people calling.
Yes, we do. But thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
And please call back in 2 weeks. We'll be talking about the case for impeachment.
Okay.
Yeah, you may want to call back for that one.
That's a dandy. All right.
Yep. That'll be in 2 weeks. All right. Thank you. All right. Let's keep going to the phones here. Welcome. You're on Illegal Knowledge.
Okay. So with Kennedy, tell me what happened exactly.
Okay, well, we're actually talking about the Mideast. We could probably do a whole show about assassinations.
About Kennedy,
but
and I just
briefly,
want to hear real quick, please.
Briefly, Kennedy was shot through the head right up here.
Okay, and how are the angles wrong?
Because it hit tangentially to this.
I saw
so perpendicular to the plane that I'm showing you.
Way, dummy.
What?
I think you're wrong. Where'd you get your information?
From the Zapruder film.
From the Zapruder film. Do you believe that? Do you believe Michael Moore?
That Michael Moore didn't shoot the Zapruder film.
I'm not talking about that. Do you believe in those stupid guys who make these shitty-ass documentaries? Like Michael Moore.
No, I'm not talking about a shitty-ass documentary. I'm talking about the Zapruder film. You are aware of what the Zapruder film was.
You don't know anything about Kennedy. Kennedy was killed by my uncle, and I'll kill you.
All right. Well, all right. Well, if you have any evidence to present, then go ahead.
Okay, Lee Harvey Oswald. After he fucked you and your paw in the ass, he shot.
All right. I'm sorry. We'll have to go on to another caller. But welcome. You're on Illegal Knowledge.
Come in my mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
What's up, man?
Hopefully.
Hey, just to the other caller about the Kennedy, he's actually right. You're funking wrong.
Okay, well that's okay. It's a matter of looking at the film.
No, it's proven.
How do you get tangential spray from a bullet that hit from back here? I don't see how it works.
I was funking there.
Well, anyway.
Hey, you doubting me, boy?
As I said to the other caller, if you have any evidence, then please present it. But where he went with the evidence, that was inappropriate for the show. If you're going to do the same, then we'll go to the next caller. Welcome. You're on Illegal Knowledge.
Good evening.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello. Never mind those kids ranting about Kennedy.
Yeah, the topic was the Middle East, by the way.
Exactly.
Yes.
And, I wanted to call in and talk a little bit about the Middle East.
Yes, thank you.
From the standpoint of, we went after Iraq for supposedly having a nuclear weapons program. We're beating the drum to go after Iran for the same reason. And yet the only country
Korea
that has a confirmed nuclear weapons program,
well,
even
Pakistan and India,
confirm it themselves, is Israel.
Yes. So, well, they won't confirm it themselves, but yes.
Well, Shimon Peres all but did it himself, but in a news conference here a few months ago. But the problem is...
Oh, yeah, that accidental little slip of the tongue. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
that was interesting.
Fun.
Yeah.
It's just, I find it amazing that we're pouring all this treasure down the rat hole, not just of the Iraq War, but also giving all this money to the Israelis. I mean, do you know that they asked for $70 billion in foreign aid, and they got another $80 billion tacked on without even asking?
I thought we were giving them something around like a little bit below $200 billion a year, right? Something like that?
Yeah, it varies bit by bit, and I mean, this was an extra appropriations rider that just got passed 2 weeks ago.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was much higher with all of any other portions of things fit into other places, and yeah.
Now, you know, of course, talking about the Middle East, the reason we're there, or at least the one that's given to us by our illustrious leader, is always the same, 9/11. And Israel was definitely involved in that little operation.
Yeah, and you know, it's an interesting thing. If you want to say that we were there because of 9/11, then what are you saying about 9/11? Because we obviously can tell why we're there. It's for resource privatization. Yeah. So what did 9/11 have to do with that? Or, well, obviously, it had a lot to do with it.
Well, it gave us the excuse.
It gave us exactly.
It's the source of all our ills at this point.
There's a thing called the Hegelian dialectic, and it was named that by this guy Hegel. It's been used. Yes, it's been used throughout the ages, and it's a matter of create a false problem, make a false solution for it so as to produce a desired reaction.
And it's exactly how we're ruled now, and it's the same way the Nazis were ruling 60 and 70 years ago. And, you know, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Mm-hmm. And another good point that some people bring up when whacked out conspiracy theories and stuff like that. But if you do notice, the Masons have this thing for the number 5. And if you know anything about numerology, the power of man.
Definitely a very sacred number, sacred chow.
And if you do numerology on the dates of say 9/11, 9 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 1, it works out to a 5.
Yeah,
you add the 2, the 1, the 9 is identity, and you add the 2, the 1, and the 1.
Well, you know, the thing about 9/11, we've actually got a real good opportunity to hear some truth spoken about that coming up next week, August 15th at St. Mark's Presbyterian Church. William Rodriguez, the janitor, he was actually the last man pulled out alive from the rubble of the World Trade Towers, and he's coming to speak at St. Mark's Presbyterian. It's free. It's Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and I urge everybody to come down and check it out.
All right. So at what time was that again?
I believe it might be 7 p.m. It might be 8. It's Wednesday the 15th. Not this week, but next.
Yeah, next Wednesday. All right.
William Rodriguez is going to come speak, and I can't stress how important it is. I mean, this is a guy that has no political axe to grind.
You know what?
You know, he's not some theorist. He was actually there on the ground, and he very clearly describes explosions that happened in the basement of the building before the plane had even struck.
Yes.
So, I mean, you know, you can talk to me about lefty bloggers and argue on physics about whether the towers could have come down with the aid of demolition or not.
Well, there's no way they could have without, because there's building in the way.
I agree.
Not to mention the 47 box columns that are, you know, they're this thick.
Yeah, they're not
the
going
the
to
wall
just
of the column is this thick. The column is
energy.
freaking yeah. It's obviously, and it's probably thermate that was used to cut through. You still there, caller?
Oh yes, I'm still here. I'm listening. It's nice to run into somebody that's on the same page.
Yeah.
And listen, don't let the haters get to you on the phone.
I just need a call screener.
Don't we all? Listen, man, keep going and keep speaking truth.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yep. Thank you for your call. And I just wanted to repeat that. Wednesday, August 15th at St. Mark's Presbyterian, 7 p.m., William Rodriguez. He's the last man out of the tower, correct me if I'm wrong, out of the last tower, which would have been Tower 2, I think. How did that work? Anyway, the last man they recovered from the tower alive, that is, William Rodriguez, will be appearing at St. Mark's Presbyterian Church on next Wednesday, if you're watching live, Wednesday, August 15th not this coming Wednesday, but next 7 p.m. at St. Mark's Presbyterian Church. So I probably will be there. You should probably look for me. And let's go back to the phones. We got about 10 minutes left in the show, so we'll take about 2 or 3 more calls and wrap up. Welcome. You're on Illegal Knowledge.
Hello.
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 Hello. You're on the air.
Which church did you say it was?
St. Mark's Presbyterian. I'm not sure where that is, but I think if you looked it up in the phone book, you'd probably find it.
What kind of church is
It's
it?
Presbyterian.
What is that?
It's Christian.
Oh, Christian?
Presbyterian.
Oh. Well,
Okay.
I just want to invite.
Did you have a comment on the Middle East?
Oh, I just want to invite all those people who are watching right now to go to the Door Christian Fellowship. It is located on Irvington Road. And yeah.
All right. Well, thank you.
No. Love you.
All right. Welcome.
Have a good day.
What? I'm sorry?
Have a good day.
Oh, yes. Thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. Welcome. You're on the air.
I do the idiot tonight. I fucked your mother.
Okay. Welcome. You're on the air with Illegal Knowledge.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes. Hello.
Hey, good. Hey, I think that I like you guys talking about 9/11 there.
Yeah.
I think that when you talk about 9/11, I think it's important to focus on the 2 main smoking guns, which I'm sure you're aware of, which are Building 7 and the
Yes,
Pentagon.
of course.
There's plenty of pilots on record stating that there's no way that guy could have pulled that maneuver, and even if he did pull that maneuver,
you're talking about the
there would
Pentagon.
obviously be a big cavity in the ground.
Yeah.
It's really amazing the psychology behind all of this.
Well, where are all the FBI? FBI has all the tapes of all the surveillance camera tapes.
Oh, of course.
Where are all those? I mean, there were gas station tapes. There were,
every 20 yards on the Pentagon.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and you can't tell me that there aren't, more security camera tapes all over the Pentagon. I mean, if anyone's been there, and I have, when I go to D.C., I'll park in the Pentagon City Mall, and then, it's right over, there are cameras everywhere. What are you talking about?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And, it's also curious that it was widely known that that part of the Pentagon was under construction.
Yes, it was being reinforced.
Major leadership inside the Pentagon.
And they were on the other side of the building.
Every airplane that gets manufactured, every piece of that airplane is numbered. It's just amazing. There's so much evidence about 9/11 that it's really not much of a debate anymore. The only real debate is, whether we can actually get some reputable people onto mainstream media to talk about it. And so far that hasn't been forthcoming.
Well,
it's amazing when the quote unquote mainstream, whatever that is.
If 9/11 was perpetrated so that resource privatization could occur in the Middle East, and the topic is on the Middle East tonight, then obviously it's happening to the benefit of the media as well, who insists on not reporting about it.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that to a lot of people about the Iraq War. It's one thing to blame the Bush administration for the Iraq War, but just a little amount of study, it was already known that many of the people in the Bush administration had this plan, for
since
10 years
Nixon.
that they wanted to take over Iraq.
Since Nixon.
It's one thing for them to make the case. You expect that, but you don't expect the media to just blankly go along with it. Anyone who's taken, you started off the show by talking about the history of the Ottoman Empire.
Yes.
Anybody who's ever taken a beginning history of the Middle East class or any Near East class, class knows what the result of the Iraq War would have been. And, I also contend that while the media will give you the idea that George Bush is this bumbling idiot, that really serves his benefit.
He's a cheerleader. He's an actor. He's not even a good actor, but he's a cheerleader.
But it really serves their purpose for because I even hear people who are Republicans sort of apologizing for Bush because they go, oh well, he's well intentioned and he's just this good old boy and he's just.
But that's all an act.
He's
from Kennebunkport. He's not Texan.
It works.
Yeah.
The war in Iraq is going exactly as it was planned.
Yes.
U.S. soldiers will
be in
Iraq for the rest
you
of our
were supposed to be there
lives,
until they got all the oil out, basically.
So you know,
Until
this is not
BP and
about
Shell.
going in there and you know, clearing out Saddam Hussein and then laying some form of democracy. It's about us being in the Middle East and having a presence there.
Well, we didn't even want democracy in the first place. We had to get rid of the one guy because he was like, we need elections now. And he got fired. I can't remember his name.
It's curious.
The one
too, that
lieutenant in charge of
democracy gets touted so much when the word democracy does not appear in the Declaration of Independence. It does not appear in the Constitution. And really, most of the founding fathers, they sort of despised democracy. They certainly did not think that democracy was a good idea. There really are no democracies on this planet. It's a giant corporatocracy, and there are only a few countries in the world that aren't in that corporatocracy, and those are the ones that we see the bombs being dropped on. Thanks. Have a good night.
Well, yeah. One other thing, though, back when they began, are you still there? Okay. I think he hung up, but let me just to add to that. What he was saying is when the founding fathers were there, and they were just as afraid of corporations. Corporations used to have charters. Well, they still do. But they used to have their charters set by a state, chartered by a state for a project, a particular project. And when that project was over, the charter was removed. And there was no more corporation. And since then, corporate charters have gone into perpetuity, and you know, I have one myself, too, in fact. And they're in perpetuity, and there is no real. I mean, you can't really get a charter revoked. The founding fathers didn't want corporatism. They didn't want wholesale inclusion of all the people in the country, by any means. Certainly, women had to fight for the right to vote. Certainly, any non-property holding person who had to be white. I mean, if you could only vote if you own property, were white, and were over the age of 21, and were male. And even if you're a woman who owned property, who fit all the other criteria, you know. And they didn't want that part of inclusion, but now that we have that inclusion, the corporations are seeing to it that we are then again excluded. So that was the point that I was going to make about that. We got about 2 minutes left. Let's go really quick back to the phones for a couple more calls, and I want to say a couple things, and we'll be out of here for 2 weeks. So let's get your calls in now. Welcome, you're on Illegal Knowledge. Welcome. Hello, caller, you're on. All right. Welcome, you're on Illegal Knowledge.
Don't you know Bush is anal raping this country?
Yeah, I'd pretty much say that. Do you have a, really quick, we're talking about the Middle East. Did you want to make a comment there?
Bush is anal raping the Middle East, too.
Yeah.
Would you let Bush anal rape you?
I don't think so.
Why not? He can give you some money.
He's probably really small.
How do you know he's small? Have you seen him before?
From small men come small ideas. Thank you for your comment. Let's try to get a couple more calls in here.
Hey there.
Hello.
I work for a corporation in Tucson.
Okay.
A very large, let's call it a defense contractor.
Raytheon, let me guess.
Shh, be quiet.
Okay.
My neighbors might be listening.
All right. They might be listening. Yes, go on. Don't leave your name.
Ship. Do you hear me? Hello?
What?
Hello?
Yes.
Loose lips sink ship.
Yes. Wonderful.
It's true. Anyways, what I was going to tell you about the corporation.
Okay, well, the topic is the Middle East.
Excuse me, the Middle East?
Yeah, did you have a comment on that?
No, I'm not working. They're working on a magnetic bullet shield over in another department.
Well, we have we have a limited amount of time. Right now, we have less than a minute.
I'm in my mouth.
So I'm just going to go ahead and yep, okay. So anyway, one thing I would like to say before we do go off the air, that'll be it for the calls because we have 30 seconds left. On Wednesday, August 15th at St. Mark's Presbyterian Church. I don't know where that is, but if you look it up, you will probably be able to figure out where that is located. St. Mark's Presbyterian Church. Wednesday, August 15th, not this coming Wednesday, but on the 15th, middle of the month, 7 p.m. William Rodriguez will be there, and he's the last person out of the Trade Center. And that would be it for tonight's show. You've been watching Illegal Knowledge. Please go to the website on Tuesday. And thank you, and good night.